once it started?
Until it dies.
That means like 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Well,
2 days?
They usually last. I once had a reed that I left on for 3 months.
And then what happened? Because if
It just collapsed.
If you keep that same reed for ages, then it gets very, very weak by and by, but you're not aware, and then you take a new one, same strength, supposed to be, but it's so much stronger than the used reed you had before. So
well, that's why
this one is huge.
That's why I soak the reeds in water, because it ages them a little bit. So, for example, these reeds have been soaking since the first. I mean, they've been moist, but they haven't been played. So the fibers are gradually, so they're aging in the water.
So they get weaker even if you don't play them.
But not as fast as when you're playing.
Sure.
But, so, you know, I mean, I find that I only maybe find 2 reeds out of 2 or 3, sometimes 4 reeds out of a box, this is a box of reeds. This is 10 reeds. I usually find, you know, anywhere from 1 to 4 reeds at play, anyway. So, you know, it's just it's a matter of, and sometimes it'll be number 1, and sometimes it'll be number 10 that ends up playing. Right, you know, so it's just, this is insurance for me, you know. So, anybody else have a, yes?
Yeah, I kind of have a 2-part question. The segue from reeds into mouthpieces. A lot of people get into like their setup with the reed mouthpiece combination.
Yes.
Are you one of those people that
yes.
do that? Or
might surprise you. I'm fanatical about everything else. I might as well be fanatical about that.
All right. And then my second question was, what saxophonist, since you've been playing professionally, have you admired or listened to? So like if you're just sitting down and, you know, having a glass of wine, chilling, who do you put on?
Wayne Shorter. You know, one of Joe Henderson, Hank Crawford, Cannonball, of the Sonny Rollins. But Wayne is the guy. I mean, there's certain albums that I always go back to. ESP is an album I always go back to and just listen to it. It's just it's one of those great albums. And there's a record that Joe Henderson played on by Larry Young called Unity.
Yes.
That is just it's an amazing record. You know, I mean, and what's amazing to me is that the fact that Larry Young took the context of an organ group and made it something else altogether. You know, I grew up playing also, when I wasn't playing with blues bands, I played with organ trios. So the Hammond B3 organ is a big part of what I hear in my head. I love that sound. I think of the Hammond B3 as an acoustic instrument, even though it's not. To me, it's like the Fender Rhodes, I think of as an acoustic instrument, just because it's tubes and it has a warm sound. It's not, you know, it's not digital. It's analog. So those are the guys that I listen to, you know. But I mean, I really listen to everybody. But if you wanted me to name a few that I consistently go back to, you know, and I find myself occasionally listening to Paul Desmond, who I absolutely love, and who is, I think you'll find that he's a lot more influential on people than you would think. I mean, when I heard Paul Desmond play, it struck me that he reminded me of Lester Young. Just the way he played, you know, he sounded like he was coming out of Lester Young. I'm sorry, it's a metal mouthpiece, and the facing on it is D8. And the ligature I use is called Harrison. It's a Harrison ligature. I like it because it has just little clamp pins where it clamps the reed down, so it's a minimal amount of contact with the reed, and it's kind of light, and it allows the reed to vibrate.
Donc voilà, enfin une vraie question de saxophoniste. Quel bec joue David Selmer? It's a real saxophonist question. Question.
Yeah.
Donc c'est un Dukoff D8. Is it a regular one, or has been worked?
Dukoff?
Yeah.
This one is a regular one. Okay. I had another one. The problem with Dukov mouthpieces is that the metal is very soft. So I bit through my last one. I ate my last one.
Le problème du Dukov, c'est que c'est un métal qui est très souple. Et
With the mouthpiece. And then I played a real hard level air for a while. And then I discovered the Dukov mouthpiece and it played great. And it was only after I'd been playing it for about 5 or 6 years that I realized that the metal was very soft and that they wear out after about anywhere from 5 to 10 years. So you have to keep replacing them.
That's
And
the
it's-
one you play on most of your albums, right?
Yes, most of them. I think the first album I played at Level Air.
Ah.
And when I played with Stevie Wonder and Paul Butterfield, I played with Level Air. But after my first album, after my first solo album, I played Dukov. And I like them because you can get a full sound with them, like a warm sound, but still you can get point. So, but since the mid 70s.
But did you try anything else recently, or?
I've tried other mouthpieces, but I just, I'm addicted. It's just like I can't find another one that, every once in a while somebody will send me a mouthpiece that say, oh, this is great, it plays just like a Dukov. And it never does. So.
Donc rapidement,